everyone, and welcome back to Teacher House's Lessons.
Lessons with Teacher House.
Today's video will simply be about heroes. When someone speaks about a hero, many people think of people with superpowers like Captain America, but they don't realize how there are many real-life heroes out there. Heroes have superpowers like flying to help. Real-life heroes like Malala don't save people in that way. She doesn't use any gadgets. She doesn't even have superpowers. However, what she does have is the power to stand up for what she believes. Ooh, those are some big words right there. At the same time, being rewarded for a good deed isn't always the case. Many people do good deeds because they think it's the right thing to do. It's ethical. Fictional heroes aren't rewarded for their actions. They just carry on doing them, even though they're risking their lives. In the real world, heroes might be rewarded with a Nobel Prize, like for fighting for human rights, but they sometimes pay terrible prices for their bravery, with them or their families suffering. Each real-life hero has a different story, while superheroes are all the same. You may disagree with me, but if you think about it, they are all just the same person with a similar dramatic past that has some sort of weapon, like a bow, an arrow, or a hammer. Take Thor, for example. He has a hammer as a weapon and a past of royalty. Take away the hammer and paint an S on the chest, and you get Superman with similar tragic past, just a different power. If you still don't believe me, take Iron Man. The rich man with a suit or armor and gadgets. Take away the armor and give him the Bat gadgets, and you get Batman. Do you see what I mean? So we can conclude that heroes are hardworking and passionate, and that's how they succeed. Anyone can be a hero. However, before we end this video, on a quick note, I want to add these two other points that superheroes have in common. Vladimir Prop was an analyzer of the basic plot components of Russian folktales. He concluded his research by finding out that there are 7 character types in a hero story. These characters were the helper, the villain, the false hero, donor, dispatcher, and the stereotypical princess. Can you realize that all of these characters shape the scenario into similar ones between all heroes? Now onto our theory, which was given by Joseph Campbell inside his book called The Hero with 1,000 Faces. Phase 1 of the story of every hero begins at the ordinary world. It also ends there. Now on to the time for call. This is really where the story starts to build up, but not yet in the climax. For example, the time for call for Harry started when Hagrid brought in the invitation. The assistants, of course. This is where the main character is the assistant of another character, which is supposedly doing the responsibility of the main character, but will switch places with the main character in the end. Well, you'll see if you watch a hero film that this really applies for it. The departure. This is where either mentally or physically the character departs from their usual ordinary life into a new realm or into a new case where they become a hero. But not yet. There's still many trials to face, and this is the next phase. See what I did there? Well, anyways, this is the next phase where they fight a dragon or they find a treasure, but it's not yet the very high climax. Then we have the approach, which is where the person approaches the main villain or that dragon that they're trying to fight at the very end. This is the real biggest villain of the whole story, so it's a big moment too. Anyways, after the approach, we have the crisis. The character couldn't see what was going to happen. They went for it, they approached the mean villain, but in the end they couldn't win, and the crisis hour strikes. But don't worry, this is a hero story anyway, so the return phase happens, and this is where all the negative vibes turn into positive vibes. Here the hero gets up on their feet and they fight that dragon or villain again, and this time, depending on the result, they do win or they don't. However, in most cliche endings, yes, they do win. And what do you suspect happens afterwards? Surprise, surprise, they get back to the very starting point, the ordinary world. Although not much is the same anymore, the setting may not have changed, but certainly he has outgrown his old life. Oh, finally! I'm sure many readers have been hoping to read this point. It's when everything is resolved, the universe slowly unravels its flustered mysteries into one straight timeline. And the status quo. This is a chapter left for the author to take chance on summarizing the ending. They may refer to the future events or focus on what the reader has just witnessed. Okay, students, that was our lesson for today. See you next time on Teacher Who's Lessons.